everyone. Welcome to another episode of Third Shot Podcast. As we always ask, please make sure you're following us on social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, as well as YouTube at Third Shot Podcast. We are also on X at Third Shot Pod, and you can find us on our website, thirdshotpodcast.com. I have Uncle Greg and Russ here, and we are ready to kick into our episode. So, what are we all drinking?
I got a coffee shot. I need a little caffeine this morning.
Mine's beyond a coffee. It's a whole
Nice.
coffee.
An entire coffee.
I'll chug the whole thing during the shot
This is
here.
a warm up. I might get into the alcohol the next couple of shots. We'll see.
Oh, cheers. If you start slurring a little bit, we'll know you've dug into the alcohol a little.
Oh yeah, it makes it more fun. Everybody has a good laugh. They can comment on our social media, right?
That's true.
Oh, we should tell people, Bridgie, tell people to log into our social media and make fun of Uncle Greg slurring because he's just smashed by the end of these episodes.
Maybe that should just be a whole separate account. Uncle Greg slurring.
We do need to do a blooper reel.
We do.
We should, yeah.
We really should. That would be good. We should actually, even more fun than that, I think, some of the pre-show prep as we're sitting here talking about like, hey, what should we talk about during the open? I don't know. all the pre-show and post-show stuff.
That could be a whole episode in itself.
It really could.
Well, we
Really
talk
could. We
about
should
wedding
start hitting that.
plans, we talk about vacations, we talk about food, and then we figure out, the pre-production for the show.
Exactly. Exactly. I feel like, I mean, I was away and then I come back, but I hear about the whole, tournament stuff and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle's
Thinking
been
about that,
crushing it.
first of all, what do you pack as far as
Oh.
food and drink? Let's start there. And then we'll talk equipment. But what do you pack as far as food and drink when you're going to play one of these tournaments? You know it's going to be an all-day thing.
Very good question. Okay. Because it really depends on whether it's a local tournament or I'm going somewhere. Like it's kind of
Okay.
far away where, it's kind of far away. Anyway, I usually like to have some type of food. Bridgie, Auntie makes the fantastic ramen eggs. Like the soft boiled eggs that you get in ramen that has a little bit of that soy flavor. My wife makes the best ramen eggs, and I love her just making me a bunch of them, and I just have them in a cooler, and they're ready to go. So in between matches, I'll just chomp down some eggs. Definitely have to have some water. And before the tournament, I also depend on who my partner is gonna be for drink. Because if it's gonna be somebody that loves to party a little bit, like, Pickle or Die Greg, he likes to party it up a little bit. My recent partner, we enjoy ourselves. Now, because our guest today is Epic Pickleball Life, who has a bag, one of the key features of their bag is a built-in cooler. So what I do in the built-in cooler is I chill some soju.
Nice.
Yeah. So that is now a part of my what I bring to tournaments when my partner likes to drink with me a little bit after, and maybe sometimes in between matches. We have a little something to loosen us up. And then I have some protein bars, the basic stuff like that.
Bridgie, have you tried the soju?
Soju, I have had soju in the past. I am not much of an alcohol drinker, just in general, and I cannot understand how people can drink alcohol and play a sport at the same time. So props to Uncle and all of his partners who can hold it down and do all of that, because for me, it's got to be like water only. Even like sports
Right.
drinks, if I'm playing a sport, like sometimes that's too much for my stomach.
What about those Celsius things? Those seem pretty good as far like little extra, caffeine to get you going and
Yeah, my introduction to Celsius was when you first came out for the Shamrock Open at
Hmm.
Lake Vegas, and we had a bunch of Celsius in our cooler. And I think that was pretty good before the matches. I just can't drink it
Yeah.
during.
Yeah. I like it actually before, like, if I'm gonna do like the improv show thing or something,
Mhm.
having
Mm.
one of those, like, it just gets me up, gets me going, kind of, you know.
Can you drink alcohol during or before, improv?
I I haven't, only because I feel like well, I think long ago maybe I could have. You know, now that I'm in the sunset years of the 40s, we'll say, I'm I don't know. It just, I mean, I get tired. It's so I'm thinking I'm slower, and with improv you got to be fast. So the extra shots of caffeine do help. So yeah, the Celsius all the way for those.
Well, Bridgie was giving me props for, drinking a little alcohol during pickleball matches. Well, I didn't say we were winning. I just
Ah, right,
sometimes it
right.
definitely does not help performance, I don't believe. But I did hear a recent story that I forgot who the player was. He qualified and he made it to, I don't know, the finals or semifinals, and he was so nervous. Oh, this was a golfer. Excuse me. It was a golfer, and he was playing a US Open qualifier, and he was in kind of a playoff, and he was so nervous before the playoff. He downed like 3 beers before he teed off for the playoff, and he made it. He actually won the
Really?
playoff, and then he made it into the US Open. Yeah, it was crazy
Wow.
story. So maybe it does help. Maybe it does.
Maybe.
Maybe I should
Maybe.
try it.
Now, golf is a little different than pickleball. You don't have balls flying 100 miles an hour at your face in golf, so
Right.
Yeah. You're not having to like juke back and forth across the court or like run up and down. I think
yeah,
the movement, like the jostling, you're like jumping and kind of running, start and stop stuff.
yeah.
That
That's
gets
why I
me.
like the soju because it's really fresh, it's really refreshing, it kinda cools you down. I think, Russ, did I introduce you to soju when we went golfing?
You did, and I mean, the problem with that was, I actually, I feel like with golf, I generally, like, get better through the 9 holes,
Yeah,
right? Through
yeah.
18, I, like, reach a peak. There's probably something where, it's like,
There's
okay,
a
and then
bell
I'm back
curve
down.
in your game.
Totally, totally. But the problem with the soju in golf is I think it does just flatten that bell curve out, where
It
it's
never
about the
peaks.
same the whole way. Because the other thing with soju is, like, you just drink it like it's water, but it's alcohol, and you don't really taste the alcohol with it. So
Creeps up on you.
yeah, you're not really feeling it as you're drinking it, but you feel it a little bit later, for
I
sure.
got this new soju recipe that soju purists are probably gonna hate me for saying this, but if you mix some soju with fresh strawberries, a little bit of yogurt, and some seltzer water,
Huh.
oh my gosh, that is so refreshing, so good, and yeah, you'll still feel it.
I
Okay.
have recently
Soju
heard,
smoothie.
yeah, of a recipe like that, but instead of using yogurt, they use that yogurt drink, the Kelpico, I think it's called.
I use Yakult.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a little bit of like a yogurt beverage.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Yeah, you put the
Hmm.
yogurt beverage in there, you mix it with the soju, the fresh, some crushed ice, I didn't mention, put some crushed ice in there as well, and you get the most refreshing drink, and it tastes, oh my gosh, tastes like a dessert, but
Nice.
yeah, you'll feel it,
Yeah.
after a couple of those babies.
And
I
it's
do,
healthy.
And
I
they're
do
pretty,
yeah,
it's a pretty
totally.
drink. Mhm.
I do, this, like, strawberry, this actually was a pandemic find for me. Like, you're at home all the time. You want that, like, margarita from a Mexican restaurant. You're not going out, so you're like, "What are you gonna do?" I did this whole thing where the strawberries that you get for, like, pies that are a little bit sweetened strawberries?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
get those, you throw them in the blender with, tequila and triple sec and some lime, and you've got, like, this fantastic margarita. You don't need any sweetener for it because the sweetener's in the strawberries, and you get this, like, amazing
Ah.
strawberry margarita. That might be good with the soju as well. Like, you take the strawberries from the
Oh,
pies, throw
yum.
them into the blender. Oh, yeah.
Hey, here's a little secret about margaritas in Mexico. If you go to nice restaurants in Mexico and you order margaritas, you have to actually ask them what type of tequila they're going to use. Because if you don't ask, they can sometimes put some really expensive tequilas in your margarita and charge you for it. So what I
Oh,
learned in Mexico is wherever you go and you're ordering drinks, whether it's shots or margaritas, daiquiris, ask what they're putting in and you tell them which one you want. Because if you don't, some
They'll give
places,
you
I
the
won't say all places, some places will give you the high end stuff or tell you they're putting in the high end stuff and they start charging you a lot of money. I got a bill one time while I was in Cancun. And I go, whoa, how much did we spend on drinks?
oopsie. It's the
Yeah.
tequila tax, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, or they figure they can get you so drunk you're not gonna look at the bill afterwards.
Right.
But did you have some good drinks?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
You got
there was
the top shelf stuff.
there was there was no doubt that we had some good drinks in Cancun. And then we got smart, and we went and bought our own and brought it back to the room and made our own drinks, so that also helped.
Nice. Nice.
If you got a room with a fridge, stick that vodka in there
Exactly.
and we did find soju in the
Hmm.
7-Eleven in Cancun.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
random. Like, I don't see it anywhere.
Yeah,
I
it's
have to
in
go to like
liquor
that
stores, right?
Total Wines or
Total Wine has it,
and
yeah.
I don't think Bevmo has it, which
Bevmo has it, at
it
least
does.
by me, the Bevmo
Okay, I
license
couldn't
has it.
find it at the one by me, but they are they're actually in San Francisco opening like I guess this huge uh like Korean market.
Yes.
And so yeah, we'll have
Is
I'll
it
even
an
more
remain
H
the
flavors.
Mart?
market covered. What's that, Bridgie?
Is the market they're putting in an H Mart?
I believe so. Yeah.
We're
Yeah, I
getting
think
one of
it's
those too.
oh nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll all
Yeah.
have soju one of these days.
Oh,
Plenty
we have
just
to have a
flowing
soju
everywhere.
show. Hey, all of the soju manufacturers out there, we're looking for a soju sponsor of Third Shot. So please reach out to us.
Right.
Find Uncle Greg, and we're gonna put together some type of promotional deal with a soju company.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. And if like I mean seriously though, if people haven't tried it, they should go try it because it's awesome. It's really good. It is really good. Even like what was the one we had? Like a plum, right? Wasn't there a plum?
They have a lot of different flavors. I think I did bring
Yeah.
plum. I brought strawberry.
I
They got
really liked the plum one.
apple. They got
So different.
peach. They
Yeah.
got a lot of different flavors. I know,
Yes.
and then they got the traditional without a flavor. But there is a flavor to it. It's just they don't have a fruit attached to it. Yeah.
Just imagine instead of the background of the pickleball court right now, it's just a soju sponsor. So we got to make
Yeah.
that happen.
Yes.
They'd get a lot of airtime, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
We will talk and drink soju every show. Reach out.
There you go. So okay, well you told us about the bag and
Yeah.
the cooler. Now tell us about the guest.
Well, we have Sunny from Epic Pickleball Life. He is one of the owners of the company. They have this fantastic bag that, for all of our YouTube watchers right now, is behind me. Bridgie also has the backpack version. Oh my gosh, the soju already hit me. No, I'm not drinking yet. Anyway, she's got the backpack version that also has a cooler in it. And when we come back after I promote all of the social media that people need to start following us on, we will have Sunny at Epic Pickleball Life. And while we bring them on, please take this opportunity to go and if you have not subscribed to our podcast platforms, please go to Third Shot Podcast on Spotify and Apple, whatever platform you're watching, and subscribe. We really could use all of the supporters. We appreciate all of you. And go on to our social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, look us up on Third Shot Podcast. If it's on X, Third Shot Pod. And please go to our website, which is thirdshotpodcast.com. And on that note, let's bring in Sunny. Hey, Sunny, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Hi, Brady. Nice to meet you both. Thanks for having me on.
We're excited to have you. And in true Third Shot tradition, before we jump into all of our questions for you, we're going to do a quick toast to you, Sunny, and to your lifestyle brand, Epic Pickleball Life.
There we go.
Cheers.
Cheers. We're going to have an epic interview episode today. It is going to be so epic, and I'm having an epic drink. Nice.
So, Sunny, tell us, how did you get first introduced to pickleball?
Yeah, I think the story of me getting introduced to pickleball kind of intersects with me meeting my business partner, right? So we were in their backyard, and for all the random things that could have led me there, the one reason that led me there was Julie's dad, Julie's my co-founder, was my son's soccer coach. So Julie just was nice enough to host a team meeting at her house. And I noticed a pickleball court in the backyard. And until then, I had heard about it. It's taken up. Some of my friends were playing. I still hadn't made the switch or tried it. And I asked Julie about it, like, what made you go out and build a pickleball court in your backyard? So her story was that they moved down here from NorCal. Right, they lived in Danville, moved down here, and they were looking for new friends. And pickleball helped them meet, in a new town, new city, make a lot of friends. So they just loved the lifestyle. And as they were renovating their new house, they decided to build a court in their backyard. So I remember my first time playing pickleball was in their backyard in flip-flops, because because I didn't go there to play pickleball. I was just there being a dad and meeting my son's soccer team, the new coach, and the rest of the people. So that's how I played pickleball for the first time. And then I found a local club where I stay in Scripps Ranch, San Diego. We have a local club called Swim and Racket Club. And I was already on the wait list for that. So I kind of, tried to expedite my membership. And fortunately enough, I got it. And then they have 8 pickleball courts, which were converted from 2 tennis courts. And now they're going to even more. But anyways, 8 courts. And this was back in 2021, and this is 2024. So in the past almost 2.5, 3 years, I've played on an average 2 to 3 times a week, made 50 new friends playing pickleball, and and then the company came about. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's my real quick story about how I got introduced to pickleball and started playing pickleball.
I love the first experience being in flip-flops. That's the best. I don't know if we've heard that before. We've interviewed a lot of people and asked them how they started. I think you're the first one that did it in flip-flops.
That was a first, yeah.
Right? I wonder if I know Julie, because she came from Danville. I grew up in Danville. I live in the city right next to Danville right now. So I'm probably, it's not that big of a town. I probably have run into Julie and her husband before.
Yeah, you should have. You might have, and at some point, they so they want a medical practice here. As I said, we all have our day job. So they both work at Jim's medical practice. Jim's the husband, and I think they did something similar up in Danville. So I'm not sure that's how you come across, but
I will have to, we'll have to touch base with Julie and Jim and find out. And then your wife is also involved in the company. Tell a little bit about her involvement and what everybody does and how they contribute to Epic Pickleball Life.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me take a step back, right? So we met, again, very random reason of Julie hosting this soccer team, and we started talking about pickleball. And I was always interested in building something of my own. Like I worked a corporate job. I worked for Microsoft. That's my 9 to 5. That's my main gig up until now. And I've always been interested in building something of my own. And we were talking about pickleball and how fast it's growing, the business opportunity, and one of us, I don't know who, said maybe we should start a company. And that's the start of any business. Maybe we should start a company, right? So that's how we started. And then we said, if we have to do this and we have to sustain this, we have to make sure that all 4 of us are on board. So we had, up until that point, we were just talking about it. They were ideas, but then, okay, if we were to do this, let's all 4 meet and make sure everybody's bought in. Because if one of the spouses is not bought in, that's usually one of the main reasons that, the partners have to split and all that. So we wanted to do it right. So all four of us got together and we decided that, yes, all four of us are in on the idea. We set up the company. And, when we set up the company, the bags in your background were not even a concept, an idea back then. The company was set up to do something in pickleball. And the number one thing that could have been that something was setting up indoor pickleball clubs. Our eyes were set on indoor pickleball clubs, and for many reasons, we still believe indoor is the way to go. We still believe that indoor provides a lot more stability. Even though we are in SoCal and California, beautiful outdoors, but still we believe that for medical reasons, for weather reasons, for just maximizing playtime, indoor is the way to go. But as we were, looking at locations, and we still are, and we were looking at, things like what would sustain it. I think we found out that it's a little bit more capital intensive. It's definitely a lot more. San Diego has their real estate restrictions. So, anyways, long story short, we were still working on it, and then I used to play pickleball at the club, as I mentioned, and this nice gentleman called Rob, who is about 65, 70 years old, introduced me to the Thursday pickleball group. So I started playing Thursdays, taught me my initial lessons and dinking and why you should not hit hard and why you should drop your third shot, shout out third shot. And then, would bring a Yeti. He would bring a Yeti cooler on Thursdays. And as the games would get over, he would share a beer with his, pickleball crew. And a couple of times he shared with me. And I would see him getting into the court, trying to open the gate with a Yeti in one hand and a pickleball bag in the other hand. And then, he would do that for friends and he would bring extra beer for everyone. And, we would sit after the games and talk about it. And I'm like, I am loving it. Like, it's not just about come play and get out. Like, I'm not making friends and they're teaching me stuff and, the sharing a beverage. And I said, Rob, and I asked him, Rob, why don't you have, a pickleball ball, with a built-in cooler? Because I've seen other bags with built-in cooler or a snack pocket and things like that. He said, I haven't found one, and I don't even use a proper pickleball bag, he said. So that was the concept. So, we started looking at it. I took down some notes, found a designer. We went from, a bullet points on a PowerPoint to our version 1, tested it out with Rob and other people. And as we were doing that, I think back to your original question, Greg, who did what? So I was handling most of the design because it was, my idea for, it's coming of it. So I was taking care of the product. I was taking care of reaching out to vendors and reaching out to designers, while my wife was more focused on branding, right? How would the brand look? What the brand values would be? What is it that that we can offer to the community and things like that. Julie was definitely focused more on finance. That she was taking care of the paperwork, right? What do we need to make sure we are operational and selling these things, and what licenses do we need? Setting up a bank account and what I call not as exciting work. She was taking care of. She was taking care of that, and she's great at that.
Somebody's got to do it, though.
We got to do it. She was amazing at that. And Jim is the voice of reason. He would be our feedback. He's brutal. He's honest. He's very transparent. He doesn't mince his words. I like that. And I would go to him with these shiny ideas, and he would shut them down, and I'll be pissed, and then I'll be okay 2 days after. He's very grounded in his approach. Is like I don't buy into the marketing. Is like, let's get the product right. Let's focus on that. Let's make money. So he's as we call him, the voice of reason among the four of us. And, he's a tester. He was the number one tester of the bags. He gave it to a couple of his friends, and the feedback came from him, and we iterated on that. So, from there till now, I think on a higher level, duties look like this. I do sales and marketing. My wife still takes care of the branding and brand values and some of the creative aspects. Julie does a lot more finance and operations, and Jim is more on the wholesale side. So he's reaching out to the clubs, and he's taking care of, reaching out to like back end wholesale operations, because we do want to get into clubs and stuff like that.
That's awesome. And for those who are only listening, I highly recommend jumping on YouTube and checking out our beautiful bags that we have here because the design is so fun. It's kind of got those retro colors that are really in right now. But tell us a little bit more about the lifestyle. You said that Epic Pickleball Life is a lifestyle. And what is that lifestyle that your company is hoping that others buy into?
Yeah, I think more than the brand itself being a lifestyle, I think pickleball itself is a lifestyle, right? It's not just a sport. I've never seen my local elementary school fields filled with grown-ups playing a sport other than pickleball. They've always had basketball hoops. They've always had tetherball and stuff. I haven't seen grown-ups play. Now, every evening when we walk around, grown-ups are out there playing pickleball and their kids are playing, I mean, I think you live in that world too, so we don't need to go into the details of how pickleball is becoming a lifestyle. So we wanted to take what the sport offers from a lifestyle perspective and weave that into bags, right? So there is, I was speaking to one of the pros, and she said that the 95% of the growth for the sport is coming from the amateur. There's the 5 to 10% of the pros that are really making money and really care about those, high performance paddles and high performance backs. But then there's the mom that takes the kids out and gets the dad together. Four of them book a court and play pickleball, right? They bring snacks to the court. They might pack some beverages as they do that. It's the dads that, were used to do sports growing up, but then got busy with life, but now have a pickleball crew together. They get together every Saturday and want to bring a cooler and a music and a speaker. And like, it's that aspect of it where it's not always winning tournaments, even though winning is fun and our bags definitely help our customers win, but it's definitely that lifestyle where it's fun, it's family bonding, it's getting together with friends, it's bringing food and snack and hanging out after, it's going from work, it's putting away things and not going to family parties and choosing prioritizing pickleball because that's way more fulfilling and fun. So it's that aspect of or that side of the players that we are trying to cater to with these fun bags. And having said that, it's the bags cater their lifestyle, but we wanted to make sure that they have all the features and the space that people need. If you want to put in a laptop in our backpack, you absolutely can, and you can go from work to a pickleball court and you can pack all the clothes. If mom wants to pack in go-gurt in the cooler and make sure the snacks are cold for the kids, it's absolutely for that. One of our customers actually, as the summer's coming up and warmer temperature, she just uses the cooler to pack in a wet towel because she wants to make sure in between games she has a cold towel on the neck and she feels great. So it's that lifestyle aspect that we are, where it's blending from just being a competitive sport to more of a lifestyle and family and multi-generation and friends, and that's what we are trying to cater to.
That's amazing. And Bridgie makes sure she used the cooler for her chapstick because in Vegas it melts. Like if she puts it
Yes.
in a normal bag, it just completely melts. It's 15 degrees coming up this weekend.
Yeah, we're like 110 to 115 this whole week. So I was telling Uncle the cooler comes in handy for me because if I leave my bag out on the court, my chopsticks melted, my deodorant's melted. So I got my little bag of stuff that I can throw in there and it keeps it protected. And I don't have to worry about it melting and getting all over my paddles or my shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's amazing. That's a brand new use case for us because chapsticks smell too. It's massive. If I could just get this clip of the whole podcast and put it in my marketing, that would be awesome, right?
There you go.
Yeah, that is so true. Chopsticks is nothing but wax. It melts if it's in high temperature. So
Yeah,
that's
and
for sure.
deodorant. I mean, that's another big thing. And Bridgie was mentioning shoes. Now, let's talk a little bit about the bags because you have some different options. We talked a little bit about the coolers, which I love because I love bringing something cold out to the cold beverage out to the courts. But there's also options that we can do shoes instead. So tell everybody about the options that people have with your bags.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the problem we were trying to solve for was Rob's problem and now Briggie's problem. Like, bring built-in cooler. That was the spark, the idea, the problem we were trying to solve for. But as we went down the process, what we consciously decided to steer away from is we don't want to give a cooler that's also a pickleball paddle carrier. What we want to make sure is that it has everything that a pickleball player needs. Now, most of our pickleball players around, all three of us carry that sling bag, the 35 sling bag from Amazon, which is great for 2 paddles, a few stuff. But some of them don't have the right pockets for your eye gear, and don't have the right pockets for sunscreen, or even just a special pocket for paddles. It's just one big pocket and then maybe paddles to throw in there. So our bags are designed to make sure that someone who goes out and plays 3 to 4 times a week recreationally, and all the stuff that they carry can fit in an organized space within the bag. So we have the cooler aspect, but we also have another variation of the bag where if you do not care about the cooler, you never drink and you finish a game and you go home, but of course you need space for your wet clothes or your shoes. We have a duffel bag that has just a pocket for shoes, right? That's the that we took the cooler pocket and we switched it to a built-in shoe compartment. So we have 6 main SKUs, 2 colors each. So it's 3 main SKUs, 2 colors each, so 6 different products. Backpack, and it comes with cooler, and then there's a duffel with cooler and a duffel without cooler. So all 3 come in 2 colors. And the color, when it came to colors, again, it was one of those things where we had to iterate over colors, because we had a red color and we had the ones that you have in the background, and then we have a black color now. So we decided to just do the modern or the black, because the feedback we got was, I don't want it to get dirty. And then there was feedback mostly from women is like, I like the white and blue, I like the vintage, right? And it's naturally, you would think the more men are buying black and more women are buying it's absolutely not true. You're seeing women are buying black and men are buying white. It's just about what your vibe is. Are you more modern, black and red, or are you more vintage and that's your vibe and it's white and blue? So we have 2 color options. And then, from a features perspective, there's definitely the pockets for the insulated pocket for that serve as a cooler, and the one with the shoes. But there's a fence hook to make sure you can always hang your bags. There's mesh pockets for little things like sunscreens and keys. There's a special key clip in there, so you never have to drop your keys in the big pocket. You always know where your keys are. And then my favorite thing is the outside access zipper pocket. I call it the safe pocket. And then people who are not watching on YouTube but just listening, it's a pocket right next to the water bottle compartment. And the reason we did that is I have young kids, right? And they're always doing stuff. So when I'm on a pickleball court, I want to make sure they don't need me. So I was always opening the big pocket in a version 1 and taking my phone out to check if I have any text that I need to respond to. And that was a lot. So we put a pocket outside. So I don't always have to put a pocket. So I just keep my phone in the outside pocket for easy access. And for all the things, cooler and fencer, that's my favorite feature, is easy access pocket on the outside that keeps your wallet, your phone, and things like that.
Yeah, and you mentioned the key clip too, and I think that that's a fantastic idea, because Uncle knows before this, I was always like hand in the bag, like shaking it, trying to hear the keys jingle when it's time to leave, and it's dark out, so I can't see anything, but the key clip makes it so easy.
And I have a heck of a time trying to find my phone in the other bag as well too that I use. So that, having that pocket, the easy access to the phone, I think is a brilliant idea. And then the other pockets you have inside, one's perfect for the balls. You said eyewear. I use that. I actually have clear glasses and sunglasses. So I put my cases in the other pocket that you have inside the bag. So I totally utilize all the different pockets that you have, and it makes it easy to find everything and easy to get to.
Yeah, thanks. I think it's always reassuring to hear things from a user, right? And I think that was the reason we took 10 months to the launch, right? From the idea to launch, we had a lot of back and forth and little things like that to make sure that we do it right. And then most companies, brands, they spend a lot on marketing because they want to get the word out. I think we are the opposite. We spend a lot more money and time on the product, and then slowly we are ramping up our marketing, and we've done minimal on marketing so far. I think it's all been community, yourself, people like yourself reaching out and then talking about it, and that has been super super helpful. And again, that's what I love about pickleball as well, the community helping each other.
Yeah, that's why we're here,
It's awesome.
So along your journey, you said it's been about 10 months from starting this idea to putting the product out there. What's been your greatest journey or greatest joy along the journey?
Yeah, I think it might have been last week. I got a ping from Canada, and
Ooh.
someone said, "I'm trying to order a bag, and then your portal doesn't allow me to order a bag to Canada." And I'm like, because we are not set up for outside US, because we didn't even like, you don't dream that big. You don't go, who's going to order outside US? Let me just set up US only shipping. And they reached out, and then the fact that they not only stopped at, oh, this portal is not set up to ship a product, they went an extra step and pinged me and said, I want this bag, how can you get it to me to Canada? And then I think that was my biggest joy so far. And I made a video as I was packing their bag, and I still have to edit and post it. I'm like, the firsts in personal life are so important. Your first date, your first kiss, your first win. And when you run and build a small business, and I'm sure how, like, your first podcast ever, how exciting was that,
Oh yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I then made a video like your first sale, right? Your first customer review, your first order outside your friends and family, like all of these things and then as I was packing that, I'm like, this is my first international order. Now imagine this thing that was in my head now is a real physical product, and someone halfway across the world or quarter way across the world would be using it on the course that I've never met and possibly never meet. I think that was definitely last week my biggest joy, and I yet to edit that video, but I talked to the camera. I'm like so excited. I want to share it with you. I'll put it out soon, but that's definitely the biggest joy.
That's a cool story. That's really neat. Yeah, Bridgie and I, we kind of have a similar, as like the first, like when we go to a tournament and somebody actually runs up to us and says, "Hey, I listened to the show." That's kind of like our, oh, that's so cool moment. And that's happening more and more as the show kind of evolves and grows, and we appreciate every single person that
Thank
comes up to us as
you.
you do, and they reach out to you and say, "Hey, I'm interested," and it doesn't matter if they're in Los Angeles or in Canada. It's like it's so nice to have that interaction with people that appreciate what you're putting out there for people.
Yeah,
That's the coolest
and
thing.
yeah, thanks for saying that. I think the question I have on that is that who between the two of you, Bridgie and Greg, who was the first one to say we should start a podcast? Like, who said those words?
I
That would be
actually
your
said,
uncle for
yeah,
this
I actually said, so Lex and I actually do a business podcast called DIY for Business,
Okay.
prior to us doing pickleball and prior to Bridgie introducing me to the game of pickleball. So once we started playing together and we did the reality television show together, then it was just immediately I go, Bridgie, this needs to be a podcast. We should do a podcast. Would you do it with me? And
Mhm.
she goes, yeah, uncle, let's go.
I was on board. He didn't have it wasn't a hard sell.
Yeah, that is, and I think as talking to you, I'm not sure what number podcast is this. Like I can say that what you're doing, right? Like the way you're asking questions. So you're on the right track. Keep doing it. It's as exciting as build, like always building something is so exciting. And I want to know more about the DIY business podcast, but I don't know if you
Sure.
want to do it now or that's a separate discussion. I'm always very excited to learn about business.
Well, we'll probably have you on that show as well too, because it's always fun to talk to entrepreneurs and, you know, explore what the journey has been like because
Yeah.
it's different for everybody. And there's so many people out there that are thinking about starting a business or they have just started, their evolution of their company, but so many different things are thrown at them every single day, every single week that you're not expecting. And it's nice to have kind of that sounding board or, somebody else that's going through that that shares their experience that makes it so, um, relatable.
Yeah.
And you don't, you sometimes as a business owner, you feel so isolated. It's like, oh my gosh, there's a whole world is coming down on me. And, there's so many other people that are going through similar experiences. And that's kind of what we try to talk through in DIY for business. And we have industry experts that get into their areas of expertise and share their knowledge. And it's just a lot of fun. But we have a lot of business owners like you that are just sharing their experience. And one of the questions I always ask as a business owner myself is there's always surprises. Like you just mentioned one that was kind of a real fun one that, somebody from Canada was asking for your product. What other surprise kind of sticks out at you that like, gosh, as much business experience that I had at Microsoft and my partners have had in their business that we didn't see coming?
Yeah.
Is there anything that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I think there's more to share what went wrong and could have gone wrong, and then and as opposed to what is going really well for us. So buckle up for this one. it's been it's been a learning, right? I mean, I work at Microsoft, and Julie and Jim, and my wife's a software developer too, so we're both in technology while Jim and Julie have been business. So it has been a perfect blend of complementary skills, right? But this is different, right? Building something new, e-commerce, no
Yeah.
brick and mortar, working with vendors offshore, finding the right vendor, manufacturer, samples, so all of that has been a lot of learning. I'll how about I narrow it down to three, right?
Okay.
Okay. Number one was learning about the product and the zippers, and I'll go very specific on an example, right? And as we were building this product and I was giving requirements, I was to all these vendors, and I was being very specific on what we want on the product. Like, we want all metal, we don't want any plastic, right? We want double layering, like these specific instructions. And at some point I said all hardware to be black, right? And in my head, hardware is a zipper, and hardware is a like tag that you mentioned. Now we're getting a little technical in the bags, but this would be a fun one. This was a learning. And I said all hardware to be black, and I thought that covers the zipper. So once our first shipments arrived, the zippers were all golden. And I'm like, and that costed us some money because we had to go back on the design, and they had already procured the material, right? And then that was the point where we had to sit down and say, we're going to lose some money because they've already procured material. Should we stick with the color that they sent us, or should we go back and change it to black? Said no. I think our one of the core pillars is to get the product right. So let's make sure we get the product right. So we went back, lost some money, and they helped us a little bit. They were great partners. And so this just a little word like hardware, and knowing that zipper is not hardware because it's not metal. Like that was a big learning to go through.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. Well, I mean, because you have the gold accents and the handles, the gold zipper totally works for me.
Yeah, so we decided to stick with gold on the white and blue, but on the black and red, the gold just wasn't going right. So that's the one we changed to. So the
Oh,
white and blue, we liked it. We liked the gold. Some people appreciated gold, like yourself. But on the black one, and for people watching on not watching but just listening, I'm showing a black backpack. But you see on this one, this was gold when it first arrived, but then we decided to go all.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's number one. And number two is, you would think in today's day and age, building a website is going to be so easy, right? Like just setting up an e-commerce order, everybody talks about it. Every third person has an e-commerce website. So we were like, okay, let's do Shopify, because we did some research, and Shopify is the best e-commerce platform. And we reached out to Shopify, said we want a partner to come work, just build this website for us. Shopify has a list of developers. We picked one, and that didn't go as expected. So after a ton of few weeks and a lot of money down the drain, we decided to just let go of them and take matters back. So that was a loss of money, right? Finding the right web developer, I think is learning number two. Is like ask more people, get references rather than just picking one from a Shopify.com website and things like that. So I think that was one. Third is marketing, right? I think that's one of the biggest challenges, Greg. I'm sure as you talk to other business owners and in your world as well, it's a behemoth. You could take $1 million, put it down a marketing pipe, and get nothing out of it. Or you could just talk to someone and give them $129 bag, and they could do a lot for you. So figuring out what's the right messaging, where is the right money spent, and what will be the biggest ROI on the dollar spent, and is hard. And we are going through that process as we speak. I think marketing is definitely my number 3 learning, and we are taking a very conservative approach in that. Because it's so easy to go to Meta and set up a $20 per day ad spend, and in the end of the month you're $600 down, right? They just make it so easy to boost. So we're taking a very cautious approach on that as to where do we want to spend the money and where do we want to go. And that's a learning. Like that's the third thing that I would stop at. But just talking about roadblocks and learnings is a whole 60-minute podcast.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you for sharing your stories with us. And I'm sure on DIY, they would love to hear more.
We'll hear more. We'll get into detail on this, Sunny, for sure.
But you did mention your website, and all of those hours and hard work that you put into it, I think has definitely paid off because it is very user friendly. We really loved reading through those epic insights that you created. It looked like there may have been some AI utilization too in there.
Yeah.
Tell our listeners what they can find if they go to your website.
Yeah, I think our website is primarily focused to be friction free. That's why we offer free shipping. We offer free returns, and we've decided to do one price for all products. I think we're trying to take away that decision tree that goes on in your head. If I buy a $60 bag, I have to pay $20 shipping. If I buy 2 bags or a bigger bag, my shipping is going to be free. That's my wife every day. She's like, if I buy 2 dresses, I don't have to pay shipping.
I have the same math going on in my head too.
So, we're trying to take that friction away, especially at this stage in the journey where we only have, 6 SKUs. I think we can simplify the process. So simplification is what they will find on our website. Second thing is definitely, friction-free checkout, right? If you're on there, you want to make sure, you just find the right bag, check it out, and that's it. We're not trying to gather too much data on you or take you through too many steps. I think our primary goal right now is to make sure that, if you like the bag, you think it will change your life and improve your pickleball life on pickleball courts, you should just be able to get it frictionless and seamlessly. And third thing, I think insights is key. For technical reason being SEO, like search engine optimization, is key. So we are definitely focusing a little bit on that. But I think given the path that we have decided to take, where we have decided not to just be a bag company, I think we do want to make sure that we build our brand around helping new pickleball players, like someone who just heard about it and doesn't know. Like if you can put a content out on, hey, what's a pickleball scoring for dummies? Here's an article. What are the rules for pickleball? Here's an article. So we're doing a lot of that to make sure we're helping new pickleball players find the right content and educate before they get on the court. And we have some few things lined up for that as well. And second thing is just being an authority, a brand, someone who cares about the community and helping the community in general by posting content and whatever we can do while helping our own website's SEO at the same time.
That's great. I love the website. I think you guys did a really good job on it. I look at a lot of websites every single week, and I know good ones and I know bad ones, and I see the strategies behind. I think you have a really nicely done website. I love the graphics, the 4 of you on there. I think it's nice that people can have something that's relatable and they get to know a little bit about the owners, get a visual on that. I know you're a lifestyle brand. It's not just the bags down the road. What is the vision for kind of next steps? What's coming down the line? What people can expect from Epic Pickleball Life?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that people can expect is that sales or no sales, the brand will still be here, right? We all have our day jobs, and without sounding too crass, it's like as a business we care about the money, but that's not a big pressure for us, right? Because we do have these, we're, financially and in life, I think we're doing well. So I think the goal is for the brand, we keep building the brand year after year and stick around and just be part of the community and learn from them and give back to them. So number one thing that listeners and viewers can expect is the brand is here to stay, for years to come. The second thing is that, given the success so far and the great customer feedback of the bag so far, we will be launching other SKUs, but specifically for bags. So next two SKUs that are, and this is the first ever. I haven't posted on my social media, but this is the first ever on any podcast or on any media, is that we will be launching a smaller sling compete. So anything that competes with a sling, where I want to take one paddle, 3 balls, and some stuff with me. I don't care about the cooler, but I want to look nice and organize nice. And the second thing is definitely a paddle cover. So we are trying to go into smaller bags, and that has primarily been the feedback. Like, people come on and say, "Oh, that's a little expensive. I don't play 3 times a week. I play once a week, and I just need a smaller bag." So we're going to do that. And then so the third thing is definitely keep refining the messaging. I think people look at Epic Pickleball Life and say, "Oh, another pickleball brand," right? So we want to, by doing podcasts like this and just using our marketing channel, just keep clarifying and filtering the messages and just keep going, super specific and super precise on the messaging. Is that we're not here to sell bags. We are a brand that want to grow with the growth of the community and the sport, and just keep doing that.
That's great. And I cannot wait to see what is in store for your next steps and those bags and whatever else the lifestyle company has in store. And I'm sure our listeners too are sold on the brand as well. So for those who are listening and may also want to follow along with your next steps of your journey, drop your Instagram handle for them and even the website URL as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think our website is talking about lifestyle all along. It's very simple. It's epicpickleball.life. It's a little bit different than your .coms. I think we chose to be .life. So epicpickleball.life. And then our Instagram is the same, Epic Pickleball Life. And you'll have a lot of fun on being on our Instagram. We just don't do product posts every day. I go out there, my wife goes out there, we just talk to. We're trying to be more engaging and share stories and behind the scenes and how we are building this brand. And if you want to be part of that journey, I think you will find a lot of that there. So follow us there. And yeah, anything else, just, I think Instagram is our main channel. Just follow us there, and you stay up to date on that.
Well, on that note, I want to take our third shot of the show and say, congratulations on everything that you've accomplished so far with Epic Pickleball Life and the long future that is ahead for you guys.
Awesome. Give me a minute and I'll join you in that. I'll do I'll do a smaller El Tesoro for sure. This is
that looks good.
This is a good tequila for sure.
Yeah. I just got back from Mexico, so I did a lot of tequila. So cheers.
Cheers.
Sunny, thank you again for coming on. Oh, where'd you go? I thought. Thank you so much for joining us, and we really enjoy the bags. We enjoy you and all the the future. I love your story, and I love the vibe of what you're putting out and what you're trying to do for the community. That's what Bridgie and I and Russ intend to do as well. So I think there's a lot of synergy with both our companies.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity for being here, and I am a big podcast listener, and being on one is definitely a very welcome experience for me. So I appreciate it. Now I'm in the community now. I'll be watching, and Bridgie, I'll be looking for the wedding pictures, and I'll be looking for you to be in the lehenga and the Indian dresses and all of that. And I don't know if I can say that, but welcome to the Indian community, Bridgie, and welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
Well, you're part of our Third Shot family now, so you're gonna be hearing a lot from us.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to grow together, as I always say.
Oh, we'll
It's always,
definitely.
you can never grow alone. So thank you so much. I enjoyed it. I mean, I loved it, and then looking forward to staying in touch as well.
Well, we will. And for all of our audience that's listening tonight, thank you so much for joining us. Bridgie and I will continue to share our pickleball journeys and our epic pickleball life. Special thanks to Sunny for joining us today. And again, please go check out their website, epicpickleball.life, which I love the .life. That's perfect for your branding, as well as checking them out on Instagram for all the updates because they got some cool pictures and interviews. I encourage everybody to go do that. And please, support us here on Third Shot by subscribing. And we promise to have more guests just like Sunny on future episodes. Let's continue to share our enjoyment for the game and grow this pickleball community together. See you next time on Third Shot Podcast.